Hey, my name is Lady T. No, I shouldn't really say it like that, but hi, my name is Lady T. So I'm going to share my quick story of taking up space, like the space that I'm taking up right now, because, you know, the new series that I'm launching is about taking up space in different in the marketplace, but in different industries. So I knew that I wanted to work in entertainment. I mean, I went from being in a group at school, you know, being in those girl groups, singing in talent competitions, and then eventually when I went to uni, it was like I kind of like knew what I wanted to do. I felt like, oh, I want to do artist management. So it was something in entertainment, but wasn't quite sure which route. So I thought, oh, artist management would be great. So I learned about the business, learned about how it all happens and whatnot. So me thinking that I was going to be a talent manager, you know, this big shot A&R director or, you know, person. Yeah, it didn't quite happen that way. But God still allowed it that I worked in entertainment, but just in a different route. At the time, I didn't know what route it was going to be, but obviously we don't know our steps. God orders our steps, and he definitely ordered my steps, because now I'm sat here in front of the camera talking to you. And eventually I pivoted to radio, and I started working at BBC Oxford with DJ G, who was my mentor at the time. Started doing radio, did that for about 4 years. And then I moved to London. So that was in Oxford. And then I moved to London in 2012, was it 2013? 2012 or 2013. I moved to London, and then I was full-time doing radio. And I remember saying to God, I said, God, if I'm going to do this radio thing, I want to do it full-time. So do what you got to do. And then this job came along and I did it. And I got to work at Premier Gospel for about 7 years. And about the third year into that role, I finally understood why God put me in that position. And it was being in the space of entertainment. But yes, it's a Christian space, but it actually can filter out to mainstream as well, like how you can have an impact in the wider music community. And I knew that what I was doing was bigger than me. Like the job that I was in was bigger than me. The impact that I was going to do, it's not about me anymore. It's about those who are listening, those who I'm going to be coming in contact with. So for me, third year into that job, I was like, okay, God, I understand. But then it was just like, okay, so what more? And I began to ask God, what more? What's next? What can I be doing? And then, you know, I then started the podcast in I think it was 2017, and the Kandid With Lady T podcast was birthed. And that actually came about because I was having lunchtime conversations with some friends, and it used to get quite heated. And I thought to myself, what would this be like in a podcast? Like, you know, and at the time, podcasting was starting up, but it wasn't quite like massive as it is now. So, and I was like, oh, what could it be? So I thought, okay, let me see. So did my inquiries. Shout out to We Are Unedited, Bernard, who then produced my first 2 seasons of my podcast. And guess what? It won an award. Yay! It was recognized. So for me to pivot to podcasting, it kind of like solidified. I felt like God was just like, okay, I want to take you to the next level. There are certain things that need to happen, certain things that you need to do. So then as doing the podcast, God would just bring in the right topics, the right guests, and obviously the podcast being recognized, being noticed. And then I started seeing people were really, you know, taken to it. I was like, oh, wow. So I might have something here, you know, and that. So I kept on at it. And then unfortunately COVID happened, and that then really, it knocked me a bit, because I was just like, how do I keep this on? Like, how do I keep these episodes going? I tried for a season, and then but I knew for me, doing this podcast, it needed to be better. It needed to be more succinct. It needed to be better with excellence. So, as COVID was starting to come out, I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? And if you haven't watched it yet, there is an episode of me talking about how the podcast came about, like the new series of Taking Up Space came about. So for me, in terms of the space that I'm taking, yes, I'm taking up space in the podcast space and in the media space. It has been an interesting journey, but I knew that the space that I'm taking, it obviously involves this mic, because this is my sound piece. This is my voice. And the fact that God has just really directed my path in the opportunities that have come along, the places that I've been placed in, it just goes to show that I have a voice. God wants me to continue to use my voice, use as a sounding piece to show the world, like, when you are in Him, there are so many things that you can accomplish. Like, God can do exceedingly abundant. God can just bring you out of so much. God can direct your path. So for me, taking up my space in media and entertainment has become even more, even more important because of what it entails. It's not the Christian media space, but it's the mainstream space, because essentially those who are non-Christians are going to be watching this as well. And I want non-Christians to be inspired and encouraged that, like, look, we Christians might be doing some things, or we might be going through some things, but it's just how our faith informs it and how we rely on our faith. So this space that I'm taking up in is an important one, and I'm glad that I'm on this journey. It hasn't been easy. It's been very, very hard, I must say, but to come back with this particular series, yeah, that's how I know God was in it, because I said to God, if it doesn't glorify you, I do not want to be a part of it. I do not want it probably wouldn't have even gone well, to be honest with you. It wouldn't. But I knew that if I put God at the center of it, the heart of it, put Him first with it and say, God, this is what I want to do. This is the idea. This is the guest. Yes or no. Yes or no. Literally, any ideas, any guests that come into my head, I'm like, God, should I or shouldn't I? And if they say yes, great. If they say no, it's fine. Keep it moving. There are thousands of other people. So my space is a space that I am, that I'm looking forward to growing in, this media space, this podcast space, using this microphone. Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. But no, seriously, but I will say, please do join me on this journey. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm excited to see what God will do. Where it's going to reach, I don't know, but I'm just going to be obedient to His word and just continue to do this, continue to push, continue to speak, continue to show you the great people who are out there. So yeah, I'm glad to be in this space. I'm very glad to be in this space because it's causing me to shine, and I pray that I continue to shine and you continue to watch and support and be encouraged as well. So yeah, so that's my taking up space story, and I could go on and on and on, but legit, I got told that I don't have that long to talk about it. So, and I'm airing some people out right now. If there is a space that you want to take up and you're not quite sure, I would definitely say, I know it's a cliche thing I'm about to say, but really and truly ask God. Like, really, because when you get into something, you need to know the why that you are doing it. If you don't know the why, then you should not be even attempting to go into that space. I kid you not. Do not go into a space that you don't know the why for, or you don't know the exact reason for going into that. So first of all, seek God. Look at your talents and your capabilities and your capacity. Like, what are you good at? What is it that you feel like you've got a gift in for? What is it that people have told you? Oh, you're really good at that. Oh, like, I think you should do this. Like, if someone has said that repetitively, then I would say look into it and pray about it and see if that's the direction God wants you. As you're praying, He might say, no, I want you in this direction. Still probably in the same area, but in this direction, go it. And it's important to be obedient as well. Like, there's nothing wrong than a disobedient child, because it can cause you some unnecessary heartache. So pray about it. Look at what people have said that you are good at, or you have gotten a lot of praise for, and then hone that in. And then, if there's anything that you feel like you want to do, study it. Make sure that you're skilled up in it, you're knowledged up about it, and then go from there. That's pretty much it. Some things will come naturally to you. There are other things that won't, but the things that come naturally are usually the things that where, like, you will kind of like succeed, and you will see like the doors will continue to open. Like for me, this talking thing, I didn't think I was going to be doing talking to you. New. I just thought I was going to be a hotshot A&R person because that's what I thought, because I was good with people, connecting, this, that, the other. But when God shifted that path, still in entertainment, but just a different part, I was like, oh, penny dropped. I got it. And I'm like, okay, let's see what this says. And now I'm here. So yeah, that's what I would advise. So I will say follow me on all socials, Kandid with Lady T Instagram, and then on YouTube it is Lady T Official. Check it out. Links will be in all the bios and description boxes, so please do support it. And all the podcasts and platforms that you listen to your podcast on, I'll be available on there. And then also follow on there as well. So yes, darlings, that's it. Until next time, ta-ta. God is love, and I love you.